The Match Ball.
Hello, welcome to the Match Ball. Dan and Michael is there at home, and Rob is in the studio, so you won't get Moscow's relentless optimism tonight, which might be for the best all round. The show is brought to you with Levi Solicitors. There's a 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. 6-0. Where do we start with that COVID boy there in the middle?
Hey, what a day. COVID and that. Full of treats, isn't it? Yeah, that was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Burnley won, so that's great.
Don't look at the table. That's the main outcome of tonight. Just do not look at the table.
Unfortunately, Rob, I looked at the table. What's the most worrying part about that? That we lost by so many, that the players don't look like they've got a clue. What is it? Where do we start? Go on, Michael. You're normally the arch pessimist, so come on, let's get it out of the way.
Well, let's be positive for a second. The opening 10 minutes, I thought it was maybe panning out to be like the game last year, because it was kind of end to end, wasn't it? And it felt almost fun for a bit.
Until the really, really weak penalty happened again.
Yeah. But it wasn't deliberate, obviously, was it? We had Harry Kewell's take on it at half time, where he said it just is handball, because if it hits your hand, it's a penalty, it's a handball, which isn't the rule. But never mind. Yeah, it was weak, but after a game like that, it feels churlish to go on about the referee's decisions, doesn't it? Because the only real decision he could have made to improve it would have been to just call a halt to it.
A mercy killing, if you like.
Yeah, if it had just said, they've had enough, lads, please.
People in the comments on YouTube, we are streaming this live for everyone on YouTube, because why paywall a fucking 6-0 defeat, quite frankly. People saying you look ill, Michael. It's just a bright light, I think, isn't it? You're not too badly afflicted by COVID, yeah. I've
got monitors pointing in my face. I think it's making me look very, very bright when ill. But I don't feel too bad, to be honest. I feel like I've got a headache and a bit of a sore throat and what have you. But
yeah, and Moscow's just saying this one out as well, because we've got another magazine out at the weekend, haven't we? So he's putting the finishing touches to that. So Rob is in from the under-29s.
Yeah,
you coming in for all the good games?
Under-28s for 2 more days, one more day.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, but I'm really delighted that I volunteered for this one.
Come on, we should have been 1-0 up, shouldn't we? A penalty for Dan James, that awful foul.
Nah, probably not.
The fact that Tim Sherwood thought it was a penalty on the stream we were watching just made me think, probably not then.
Yeah, I found myself agreeing with him at half time and thinking, nah, this isn't right. And I almost for a second agreed with Kewell, but then I remembered who he was. So, yeah, I stopped making notes at 4-0. It went as we expected it to. We didn't expect to win this one. So, to lose 6-0, did we expect it to be that bad?
For about a minute, you thought that the Rafinha disallowed goal might have been the big turning point, because then they went up the other end and scored, but then they kept scoring and scoring and scoring. So it's hard to look back on that and think, oh, what could have been?
I've just had an email arrive as well from my energy provider telling me what the difference in my bills is going to be from April. So it never rains, it pours, does it? So thanks for that.
Was it doubled?
So not far off, another 500 or 600 quid, I think, going on top of what it was.
Superb. What a day.
So I know we're trying to avoid the obvious here. What do we make of that? What do we make of where we are?
We're in a very, very worrying spot, I would say. Averaging the last few games, we're basically conceding at least 4 on average, aren't we, across the last 5 games or something. We just keep letting goals. We're laughably easy to play against. The Matip goal was one of those where you just oh fucking come on! You've got to be better than that. And we almost got to the end, and I was thinking, oh, they've not scored from a corner. I really thought Van Dijk would score from a corner, and he hasn't done, because we obviously can't pick people up. And then it was almost sad seeing the replay of it behind the goal, and you can just see Strauch get it blocked off, and he kind of does a no arm movement as he can just see Van Dijk running towards the ball, and you just think
it was almost like a school game, wasn't it? Be fair to the kids that are taking the pasting. Maybe put a ringer on their side or something. It was pathetic, wasn't it? Well, the team's not good enough. The tactics are not good enough. It's all on. Who's this on? Is it Bielsa? Is it the club? Is it both of them? Is it all of them?
The thing is, they did massively take their foot off the gas in that second half. They had at least half an hour of not even trying, and still completely battered us. Even in the second half, I think we could have. if we managed to get it to finish at 4-0, which we were not far off doing, you could have maybe convinced yourself that the subs helped and that we were a bit tighter. But actually, they were just playing like a team that has a cup final on the weekend and was concentrating on that rather than winning a game that was already won.
I mean, we're being asked in the YouTube comments, should Bielsa go? Honestly, I don't really have a straightforward answer to it. You could see if they chose to, why they would do it, because we keep getting pumped every week. The other side of that is what happens next, who next, could they get anything different out of it? I mean, like, as they say, the definition of madness, isn't it, as the saying goes, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So getting dicked like that a few times this season, we knew there were going to be times when it wasn't going to be pretty, but it just doesn't help, does it? It doesn't help coming into the Spurs game with the pressure cranked up, having shipped 10 goals in the previous 2, no matter which way you dress it up. Even if you write these games off as not being the games where we will stay up this season, they're not the ones that are going to define the season, but they're starting to define the season, aren't they?
Well, I mean, we've now conceded more goals than we conceded in the entirety of last season, and we didn't have a shot until after the hour mark, I don't think, which is worrying at either end of the pitch. And you can say, well, it is Liverpool, I guess, and this is what happens. But I don't know. I struggle to see things changing while the spine of our team is missing, because it just seems like there's this massive gap all the way through it. And I think some of these players, their confidence is getting badly kind of shattered at the minute because the system is just breaking down and is nowhere near as slick as we know it can be. And then you look at Meslier and how many just weird things he's doing and how many times he seems to be arguing with his defenders, who it's just all kind of malfunctioning badly. And I think you just desperately want, I mean, God knows when Bamford will be back, but you just desperately want Cooper in there as a leader, and likewise Phillips sat in front of him, because at the minute it's just all over the place.
Yeah, I mean,
we concede the same goal every game. There's always one from a corner. It seems like the last few games, there's basically a goal from a corner. There's a goal from their centre back just running through the middle of us. There's a goal of someone getting turned in midfield and there being an enormous void in behind them. It's hard to watch the same thing happen every week and not think, well, something needs tweaking here. I know part of last season and part of Bielsa's thing has been when things don't go right, you keep at it and it turns, and it has turned in the past. It's just this one doesn't feel like it is at the moment. We're a very long way. Before, when it needed to turn, we were losing, 2-0 at Forest, or we were failing to win and we were getting a draw somewhere or whatever in the Championship, or we'd lose narrowly to Brighton last year, for example, or the Wolves game or something like that, where you think, well, it's not quite working, but equally we're not getting completely dicked. It feels at the moment like every team in the league would probably be able to beat us in playing in the way we are. A
lot of the YouTube comments saying, do I like Michael's new hairpiece, the thing growing from your head? Is that a COVID side effect, that? Or should we probably not? We'll get picked up by the algorithm. I am just joking.
I've just realised as well, because I'm a bit hot and I just took my jumper off, and I've realised I'm actually wearing a free t-shirt I got with some underpants as well. So I've really dressed to impress today.
Jesus Christ. It's fairly bleak at the minute, isn't it, all this?
Well, I'll show you the underpants if you want it to get bleaker. I've got them on as well.
At least you've got them on this time. You don't normally,
yeah,
etc.
True enough.
Are we going down?
It's hard. It's hard to shake that feeling tonight. Maybe a bit of time will allow us to rationalise it, but we might be. Yeah.
It's not good, is it? I don't really know what to say about tonight because, like I say, it was everything we feared and then some more. And they didn't even get out of second gear, did they? I'm just looking actually at Bielsa's comments that Adam Pope is tweeting out about the style, asking, is it difficult to keep faith in the style? How am I not going to question what I am doing? Of course I question myself. When you ask yourself why these things are happening, the question is, I don't think that a change in style will help what is happening. But don't managers, when things start to spiral out of control, don't managers... They reset and do the basics again, don't they? And it felt like we started out on that path a little bit against Man United by playing square pegs in square holes. But then we've gone back to doing the other thing again tonight. And obviously the style just costs us massively. I mean, it's been tested now against various teams right across this season. And nobody seems to have kind of learned from what keeps happening. And I think that's what's most disheartening about it is... it's the powerlessness. We're being reminded constantly how powerless we are as fans, other than to come on and do things like this and just bemoan the state of things, because all the things that were said in the summer about the transfer window, the January transfer window, the style all season, are now kind of coming home to roost, and it's ugly, isn't it?
On Bielsa's thing about Bielsa not changing, I was saying during the game, I'm so confused by the performance at Stamford Bridge earlier this year, where he did change the system slightly, and you had Dallas at right back and Shackleton sat right in front of him, and I don't want to say we played cautiously, but it just seemed more compact and together and not risking things quite so much, and we were really good. I think Bielsa himself has said that's the best performance of the season, but then we've gone back to the thing we know can be badly exposed by really good teams with really good players, and that's the thing. I know Michael, you were saying that might not happen against a worse team, but we were saying if you're playing Burnley and you're leaving James Tarkowski as the spare man, it's not going to hurt you, I don't think, or certainly not as it hurts tonight, but then why keep doing it against these really good players? Because we keep getting badly beaten by it.
I mean, in the run-up to this, Bielsa was saying, wasn't he, that the plan for this game is to try and threaten them with our attacks, which we did a fair bit, which is weird, even though we had no shots on target for an hour, and then try and stifle their attacks. It just, sadly, it doesn't work, does it? I mean, it does not work. The tactics do not work.
There's no argument against it, really, is there? When you look at the way that game panned out, because truthfully, if they'd have tried in that game, they probably could have racked up double figures, and there were chances missed in it as well. I suppose you could say some of the goals were maybe a touch fortunate. Like, obviously, there's 2 penalties in there. There's the one where the Mane one, it kind of breaks to him, doesn't it, and stuff. But honestly, on the balance of the chances across the game, 5 or 6-0 was not at all unfair, was it? It was. It looked like a 5 or 6-0 game for the most part.
But again, they didn't get out of second gear, which is probably for the best, because it could have got even uglier. But where do we go from here? Do we just dust ourselves down and just go again on Saturday? What choice have we got other than just to ride the wave until the end? I don't know.
I mean, Tottenham beating City and then losing to Burnley is so predictable, and you know that they're going to turn up at Ellen Road.
1970 Brazil. Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it? I hate it. I fucking hate it.
God bless Watford, eh?
Yeah, well, at least they did something for us. There's no positive from it, is there? There's nothing you can say about that, because it is just the same mistakes over and over again. Rob, are you sponsored by 7-Up? We're being asked.
I can be if they want to.
Yeah. So come on, give me something positive, somebody.
I did make a few notes.
No injuries, was there?
No injuries
that we know about yet.
Although Llorente's disappeared, so God knows.
I mean, was the whole?
I don't think I wrote anything good down.
When was the first point you put your head in your hands? I think for me it might have been when Firpo got booked, which was, let me have a look. I wrote that down as 18 minutes in, and you saw him and you thought, don't do it, and he did it. He leapt in on a man. Who was it? It was Fabinho, who was not a forward-thinking player in the sense that he's going to produce something like Salah, where he's going to go down the line and absolutely destroy you, and then cut in and score like he does every week. No, he's a deep-lying midfield player, isn't he? And he was not going anywhere, and he didn't have much support. He was going to have to turn back. And then seeing all this, Junior Firpo calculates in his stupid mind, I'm going to fly into him here and get booked, and therefore be on a booking against Mo Salah for the remaining 72 minutes.
I mean, that's the thing with the goal where Salah turns him as well. You'd think, well, if you weren't on a booking, you might be able to foul him. I don't even know if you would have fouled him. Salah probably just turned him anyway. But yeah, it was a daft decision and one of many from tonight.
I'm just looking through my notes, actually. After their goal, I'm noting down that they had chances to score again on 20 and 22, which isn't great, is it? It's just keep it tight after conceding. One of them was Dallas giving it away. Thiago had a good chance to play something, but I think he was trying to do like some weird pass with the bottom of his foot or something, and he just completely fucked it up and gave it to us. And then Ayling, who had a terrible night, I thought. He got absolutely rinsed.
It's almost like he's not a natural centre-back or a full-back at this rate.
Well, yeah. He was constantly... He didn't ever know where his man was. He's just constantly running after someone. It's what the image of Luke Ayling was from tonight. Just back to the camera, chasing someone. I'm just looking at the stats, actually. XG 4.37 to 0.15. 8 big chances for them, 0 for us.
Should we have been, the 1-1 that was offside, the Rafinha one, should that have been given because it's
for sympathy?
A sympathy goal, yeah. That's exactly it. Would that have been fair?
Speaking of sympathy, did you notice at 3-0 with the penalty, they were trying to get Luke Ayling sent off as well. You were like, lads, come on, fucking hell! You're
better with him on. Just
give him a break. It doesn't matter, does it?
That's one of my one notes. Thiago asking for a red. Fuck off. It's all what more do they want?
There's no intent there, was there? I mean, God, that's just so typical, isn't it? Just having penalties given against you, like the lightest, softest, crappiest penalties. And I dare say, like the one. I mean, I know we always think this, but like the Dan James one. Would you have been entirely surprised had that been at the other end if they got it? Probably not. Newcastle fan Michael Oliver giving penalties to Liverpool, etc. Blah blah blah.
Even Dallas was bad this evening. I thought. No one comes out with.
I was going to say it's hard to pick out anyone as good.
No one played well. Rafinha was crap again.
He's given up on it. You can tell.
James' ineffective click was just chasing shadows for the first half. We changed it. Then Tyler Roberts had a go at doing the same thing. Struijk was all over the place. Meslier could have done better for made a couple of alright saves, but I thought he should have done better on some stuff too. Jesus.
Yeah. What's it going to be like on Saturday?
Well, I'm going to be at home with COVID, so great stuff.
All right, lucky you.
Get in. Free pass.
Oh dear. I fear for if and when this atmosphere turns, because people, they're supporting the crowd there tonight. Crowd were brilliant again. Leeds fans travelling, always make noise when we're shite. Make noise anyway.
It was very telling when the song for Luciano Becchio came up. It was like, all right, nothing better.
Play the hits when everyone else when there's nothing else to do. Yeah, I don't know. I was contemplating this halfway through the game. I was thinking, what? I wonder what they're talking about in the boardroom, because they must have discussed sacking Bielsa, and there must come a point where they do. Like if we lose the next 5 games, they have to sack him, don't they? Well, you can't accept losing games badly for an indefinite period of time. It feels like it was still the riskier move is to get rid of Bielsa at this stage, but I guess at some point a balance tips. Like if we lose to Norwich, you do then think, okay, well, that's not acceptable anymore.
I was going to say everybody is now pegging their hopes on those games being the ones where we turn this around, and unfortunately, that's the elephant in the room, isn't it? If we don't, unfortunately, we're going to be in an absolute world of trouble.
Well, we've actually got an easier run coming up, but look at it another way. Spurs have just lost to Burnley. Then we play Leicester, who have not won this year, I think, or something stupid. They're an absolutely terrible run of form. Villa are also on a terrible run of form. Norwich have been terrible all season. So really, we should be getting a minimum of 6 points from these next 4 games. And if we don't, then I think we're in fairly major trouble, given the way Burnley have picked up.
Would you accept World War III at this point, kicking off?
It's probably going to happen anyway, so never mind. Just add it to it. It'll probably start today, to be honest. It's a good day for
it. People are pointing out that the restrictions do drop tomorrow, regards to COVID, but you're not going to go, are you?
No, I'm not. The rules are bollocks.
Don't want to kill any pensioners.
I like the people I sit with. I don't want to go passing it on.
There's not evidence that you knew as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the rule that it magically stops being transmissible at midnight tonight does seem a bit weird.
So well, it was just going back to the actual football chat. It was pointed out to me that the 49ers were in against Man United, and obviously inevitably they're going to be talking about what happens for the rest of the season, what happens next season. It would have been interesting to be a fly on the wall for those conversations.
They need relegation explained to them.
Hey lads, something we haven't told you. All this money you've chucked in to prop up this business.
Why is there a line on the league table at the bottom? Yeah. Those 3 don't get to go in there next year. Just seeing the championship fixtures tonight as well.
Awful.
Just taunting you down there. I mean,
it doesn't look like we'll be playing Derby next season though.
Yeah, Millwall though, and Steve Morrison's Cardiff, they lost, didn't they, in the last minute? But the whole thing feels very, very depressing this evening, I have to say. Yeah. Which is weird because they're fully expected to lose.
But 6-0 doesn't do anybody any good, does it?
No, and there was some hope in the second half of that Man U game, wasn't there? But it makes you think, are they just terrible? And that's why.
Well, Liverpool as a unit are streets ahead of Man United.
They are. That
is worth saying. They're
legitimately one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah. They're definitely in the top 3, aren't they? You can say that with confidence.
So, yeah, to a degree you can accept it, but they don't win 6-0 every week, do they?
No, but they don't play people as shite and easy to get through as us.
Well, yes, there is that.
Lewis is saying we lost to Liverpool and we're discussing sacking Bielsa. Madness no matter what the score. No, we're not, but we're talking about the conversations that may or may not be happening. We're not advocating for it. I think personally, we stick it out now, come hell or high water, and just get to the end of the season and then just exhale and go again. But it's going to be a conversation that's going to come up. You can't, ship 13, 14 goals, whatever it is, in 4 games and people not talk about it. I know it's an uncomfortable topic for people. People don't want to think about it. I don't like thinking about it, but we'd have very little to talk about if we didn't talk about the things that other people were talking about.
And also, we're talking about it after 2 wins since. Well, we beat Crystal Palace. We've had 2 wins since then, and some really quite bad defeats. We've had a 7-0 to Man City. We've had the 6-0 tonight. We lost 4-2 to Man United. We've lost to Newcastle. We lost 4-1 to Arsenal. That could have been a lot worse. So there are some very worrying games in there. We've not had a run like this during Bielsa's tenure, have we? So
no.
It does need to be discussed, I think, and if we don't, people will say,
yeah, because the people who don't like it being discussed would be annoyed if you did.
People will say, but you've got your head in the sand if you're just going to say that it's all fine, because it's evidently not. And I think they have a point.
It's almost like different people have different opinions, and sometimes they need to be talked about, whether they match up with yours or not.
Yeah, I don't know what we do. Truthfully,
that's what I'm talking. It goes back to the idea of powerlessness, doesn't it? I think, really, we're absolutely powerless. And I've just seen the latest comment that pop up on YouTube, and Danny's just saying, I just don't understand how a Premier League club can have such a consistent gaping hole in the midfield and not make any attempt to fix it. I know.
Yeah, either with transfers or just setting up a bit differently so that doesn't happen.
The worst part of me, the angry part of me, thinks what the club have done, and whoever's responsible for this, whether it's the decisions at boardroom level or whether it's the coaching staff, Bielsa himself, it just feels spectacularly arrogant to have not got somebody in January now. Really does.
I think this is why you've just got to stick with Bielsa to the end of the season, because they're so wedded to it now. They've made that decision. It would be, I think, lunacy to then sack the guy who you've backed in making that decision. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just so exhausting, because we could just keep going from signs of promise to utter despair. Even starting the year, beating Burnley and West Ham, but then we lose to Newcastle, and we look great at Villa for all but 12 minutes, but then we're terrible at Everton. I think we showed a lot of fight against Scum, but then tonight was just...
Daniel Moroni, just going back to the idea of the recruitment in the comments, he's quoting JFK saying, you fix the roof when the sun is shining, i.e. in the summer. I agree completely. I agree with that completely. I think the strategy is completely been wrong this season. They got it wrong. Whether that's down to money or Bielsa's intransigence, whatever it is, it's wrong, isn't it? But the other side of this is that, fast forward 3 or 4 days, if we beat Spurs, things look a lot better. It hurts like hell again. 6 more goals, 10, in the space of 3 or 4 days. It's not nice to be on the end of that, regardless of whether we stay up or not. I appreciate that. But, those 24 seconds, we had those 24 seconds, didn't we, on Sunday that were nice.
Yeah, I probably got COVID in that 24 seconds.
But if we win at the weekend, then, things will look a lot better, won't they? Because wins are just massive in this division. They get you so far up, don't they? Because nobody has any down at the bottom apart from Burnley.
Yeah, Moscow promised me in recent weeks that Newcastle and Burnley will never win games again, and now they can't stop winning them. Laughing in my face, they are.
Yeah. And anything to add then, or should we just wrap it up? We normally aim for about half an hour. 24 minutes of having a drill ploughed into your skull feels about right. Like Drew saying, how many times have I said that if we win at the weekend, it'll feel all right? But I just, that's all we've got left, isn't it? It's the hope that things will get good enough to see us safe. All. That is all I've got.
Yeah, Harry Kewell at half time was just an extra kick in the bollocks, wasn't it? Really, to be honest, in a in this day of treats.
Dan Burton is asking if we stay up, is Bielsa here next season? I don't think so. Do you?
No.
I just don't see them now having the commitment to him or belief in his system. I think there's probably the belief is wavering. Michael, what colour are your pants that you're wearing, by the way? People keep asking in the comments.
I bought several.
You don't have to show us, just tell us. You can use a word.
These ones are navy blue.
Okay.
Are these the ones you splash the cash on?
Yeah, these are the expensive ones I bought for the walk, so I don't get any chafage. They're comfy, they're good pants. Good free t-shirt as well.
Yeah. People were asking about my garden aggregate as well because I was mentioning it in one of the previous podcasts. I haven't ordered the aggregate yet for the garden because the weather's been bad.
Will they deliver it directly onto your prone body if you ask them to? If you just lay in the garden?
Can you dump 3 tons of aggregate on my head and just allow the darkness to wash over me? And I don't have to know if we stay up or go down. Ah, God. Right, okay. Emma Hargey's delighted that you're wearing navy blue because they've got navy blue on too, so good. You've got an internet pant friend. Right, okay.
Good.
Lenny's just saying, why are you wearing pants, dude? It's a home office. It's a fair point. It could be naked from the waist down like a good newsreader. Listen, we're talking shite about underpants now because we don't want to talk about football, so let's just wrap it up, go away, and hope for a better day at the weekend.
Yeah, we're not doing propaganda until next week, so at least I don't have to do any scousers for a few days.
Great. Such a special win. Okay.
They're such a great team, honestly, the way we're playing. And they're right as well. They are really good. It's fucking annoying.
Yeah, and they're absolutely miles better than us, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, well.
There we go. Cheers for watching. Thank you for listening. Sorry for dragging you in, Rob. We'll
same again next time.
Yeah, we'll be back with another match ball on Saturday afternoon after the Spurs game. Hopefully it's a brighter one. There's always a promise of a brighter day around the corner, so let's finish on that high note, shall we?
I fully believe you.
I can tell. Cheers, we'll see you in a bit.
The Match Ball.